Background. My parents divorced when I, 18 male, was 3 because my dad was having an affair with my stepmom. My mom and stepmom were work rivals and strongly disliked each other, even before the affair. There's always been speculation that this is why my stepmom willingly became the other woman, because she disliked my mom. I was aware of this, and not because of my parents, but because of the drama that would kick off with my dad's side of the family. I was present for some of my dad's relatives' speculations about this. My parents did not get along after the affair, and tensions were high whenever my mom and stepmom were in the same room. My stepmom had 3 pregnancies that ended. The first 2 were, I guess, typical normal losses, but the third one caused my stepmom a lot of medical issues, and that led to her being infertile. So she and my dad never got to have a living child together. After the third loss, my stepmom wanted me around because she wanted to feel like a parent, and she wanted to know she would still have me. She and my dad asked my mom if they could extend their time with me, and my mom laughed in her face and told her she didn't care what she had been through and would not let me be used as a Band-Aid. My stepmom argued that she deserved compassion for what she was going through. It would be good for me to get that little extra attention and love since I wouldn't ever have siblings. My mom told her she'd never have compassion for her and didn't feel sorry for her. She told her she didn't deserve to be a mom after taking part in the end of my stability within my family. She did blame my dad too, but that's never been focused on as much by my dad and stepmom or his family. After that, my dad and stepmom were never in the same place together. They had third parties take care of exchanges of me until I was old enough to hop out of a car and into the home I was returning to. Once they realized I knew the details of what happened, my dad and stepmom were vocal about mom being cruel and hurtful to my stepmom, and that was why they weren't ever in the same room together. A few times I picked up on their desire for me to hate my mom for them, but I didn't. I try to stay neutral, which my mom encourages, but if I have to pick, like with this, I'm hashtag Team Mom all the way. I'm graduating from high school in a couple of months, and my dad and stepmom brought up that my stepmom doesn't feel like she should be around my mom and doesn't want to be there with her. They told me they felt it would be best if I made it clear to my mom that she couldn't be there. I told them my mom would be there. Then my stepmom told me she can't be in the same room as her after what she did, so I just said, "Don't come." I told her I wasn't going to beg her to be there. I wanted my mom there, and they weren't going to stop me. They asked me how I could say that, knowing how my mom treated my stepmom, and they asked me to be more compassionate. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Jesus. Move away as soon as you can. I'm surprised you haven't asked to stay with your mom full time at some point. Where was your stepmom's compassion when she broke apart your family? I'm hashtag Team Mom too. Your mom deserved way better, and so did you. The cheaters ask you how you can side with the victim cheated on because said victim fought back. The audacity, the entitlement, the victim complex. Wow. Seriously. Even setting aside all the bad blood between your parents, as long as you have a good relationship with your parents, isn't it obvious you would prefer and choose them over any step-parent? Like, that's just common sense. OP, they're adults here. Ask them why they can't have compassion for the kid being put in the middle who just wants his biological parents there at a major milestone in his life. Your mom owes your stepmom just as much consideration as your stepmom gave her when she decided to bang her husband. Hope your father will realize he should have been as neutral as you were and that he will set boundaries for his wife. She doesn't need to be at your graduation if she can't act like an adult, but your parents should be there for you. And what will happen when you get married? Is the stepmom going to demand that your mom not go too? Geez. Team Mom all the way. I'm pregnant with my second child, a girl who's due next month. When my older son was born, my husband and I got him a take-me-home outfit to wear to leave the hospital. Choosing it became a very special memory for us, and we decided we'd do the same with whatever future children we had. Last month, my father's girlfriend of 2 years, I'll call her Betty, gave me a onesie for my daughter. She said she wanted me to use it as the take me home outfit. Betty had expressed the desire to buy that outfit 3 times since I announced my pregnancy. On all of those occasions, I explained that my husband and I wanted to pick it out and buy it ourselves, and that choosing the first clothes our daughter would wear at home meant a lot to both of us. When Betty gave me the onesie, she jokingly said she was saving us the effort. I sincerely thanked Betty, but told her that my husband and I still wanted to pick the take me home outfit ourselves. I don't think she took it seriously. Her only reply was that we wouldn't find anything cuter. I'll be honest, I really didn't like the outfit she bought, but even if I did, I wouldn't use it as the take me home. My husband and I were really looking forward to getting it ourselves, and even our son wanted to help us choose his sister's special clothes. A little under 2 weeks ago, we finally picked the outfit. It's a light yellow one that we fell in love with. My father and Betty came over for lunch on Saturday. Before they left, my son excitedly showed them the outfit. When Betty asked about the one she'd gifted me, I reminded her that we'd wanted to choose the baby's take me home ourselves. The onesie she got me would be kept with the rest of my daughter's clothes. She didn't say anything. My father called me the next day to tell me I'd upset Betty with my attitude. He said that she put a lot of care into the outfit that she picked, and it was petty and inconsiderate of me to dismiss her generosity. Pretty much everyone that knows about this is on my side, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have my doubts. I also recently found out that the onesie Betty bought was very expensive, so that's what's making me doubt myself. That said, I did express how much this meant to me and my husband, and I told her not to buy the outfit several times. Am I the idiot? Edit. I looked it up and it cost around $140. The store she bought it from is slightly famous around here, and apparently it's popular with influencers. Their website has even more expensive outfits. Some are nice, but I wouldn't spend that kind of money on them. $140 for a newborn outfit? What a waste of money. Not the idiot. She should have listened the first time you told her that you and your husband pick out the outfit. If Betty wants a child to wear that outfit home, then she best be having a child to do so with. It's not her kid. She doesn't get to impose her wants on it. You make the decisions for your child, not her. Since the expensive outfit she bought is causing drama, I would give it back to your dad's girlfriend. Maybe she can return it for a full refund, or at least store credit. Don't get me wrong, you're under no obligation to return it. I feel that a gift that's being held over your head like this isn't a gift worth keeping. I agree. Look, this is like choosing and gifting someone a wedding dress. No matter the cost, if the bride doesn't like it because she obviously wants to choose her own wedding dress, then she will not wear it, period. I think this goes way deeper with Betty than the onesie. My guess is that this was a power move to establish her rights to be the kid's grandma. So I would ask your dad if he's sure this is really about the onesie, or if his girlfriend may feel insecure about the role she'll have in your kids' lives. I, 24 female, and my now husband, 26, wanted to have a very small wedding that only consisted of our immediate family and best friends. Our small wedding of 8 guests, excluding our parents, happened in my apartment living room to save for a house in Europe. I kept my wedding a secret because I didn't want the stress of handling other people's reactions, since the usual wedding in my circle is extravagant and on the roof of a skyscraper or a high-end resort or hotel. I went to the same school from elementary to high school, and the moms of our batch made a friend group and still socialize to this day. I didn't really keep it hidden from my mom that I was bullied by a great chunk of the batch for most of my years there. So my mom understands how I'd prefer to keep the wedding very small instead of being selective and hurting someone's ego. In school, the people who openly bullied me stopped when one of them stood up for me in middle school. We became best friends since, and she attended my wedding. 2 girls who transferred in after and didn't bully me also became my best friends and were invited to my wedding. I consider all 3 of them my maid of honor, MOH. We finally posted the wedding and lunch party to social media, and my mom's group chat was filled with surprise. I was the first in my batch to get married, and sadly, There were fewer congratulations and more angry people expressing betrayal because they weren't informed of from as far as my engagement. They expressed that it was congruent to their best friend getting married without getting invited or informed at all. I felt confused by this because these people were not my best friends, nor was I best friends with their children in school. Nevertheless, I told my mom to use me as an excuse to dampen the fire. I, the bride, wished for this secrecy, and not my mom. They instead insisted that it shouldn't have mattered because a mother's decision trumps a daughter's. After my mom's attempt to reassure them, they turned to painting me as the opportunist narcissist who only cares for herself since I didn't inform them of my wedding, and for using my maids of honor for an extravagant wedding, which was far from the truth. A select group of parents in my mom's friend group started pitting fights between my maids of honor and me by personally messaging the maids of honor. When that didn't work, they pitted my maids of honor's moms on each other, which unfortunately somehow worked. My mom, being overwhelmed by all this, blocked the people fanning the flames. They took this as evidence to show how the apple doesn't fall far from the tree and how easy it is for my mom to throw more than a decade of friendship down the drain. Since I moved to Europe with my husband, my mom has been isolated. My father's busy with work, and my brother's studying abroad. I feel awful when I video call her, and she seems depressed, seeing her closest friends now scared to even reply to her chat. OMG, not the idiot. Let's see. The moms are bullying your mom, and their children bullied you. Yeah, the apples don't fall far from the trees. Sorry to break it to you, but your mom never had friends to begin with. Good for you for having the wedding you wanted, and I hope your mom can make some real friends. Holy crap, all these women are just acting like high schoolers. Basically, your mom has been friends with a bunch of bullies, and they used your wedding as an excuse to turn her into their new target. I cringed when reading, "A mother's decision trumps a daughter's." They're poor children. I would never betray my daughter's decision to keep something secret because my friends want to know. Unfortunately, your mom chose a very cliquey, toxic group to be friends with. I doubt this is the first time these women have behaved this way. The danger is that you either walk on eggshells with the leaders, or eventually they'll find a reason to turn on you. I'm sure your mother's hurting, just like it hurts in middle school. It hurts as an adult when your friend group turns on you. Try to encourage your mom to get involved in different groups. Think of any hobbies or things she's always wanted to try. Good luck. I have a preteen son named Dylan, and I share custody with my ex, Danielle. Danielle's married to Chris, and I'm married to Christine. Christine and I took a week of vacation this year. Dylan didn't go because he had school and was with his mom, but he has spring break next week, and I'm taking him and my older son, Dylan's half-brother, to Palm Springs. Dylan's very attached to Christine, me, and my older son. We did FaceTime with him, and he'd cry, saying that he missed us. We came back last night, and I asked Danielle if it would be cool if we went by to see Dylan, even though we're picking him up tomorrow. Unfortunately, we didn't get there until 11 p.m., but it was okay because Danielle and I always have things to discuss. Dylan was asleep. We were getting ready to go, and Danielle said she was going to take a bath, and we could see ourselves out. I took some of Dylan's stuff outside and returned to the house. Chris looked at me, wondering why I was back, and I casually mentioned that I was going to say hi to Dylan. Chris said Dylan was dead asleep. I said I'm sure he is, but he'd probably be upset if my wife and I left without seeing him. Then it got weird. He said, "Hey man, can you just not wake him up?" I was like, "What?" He said it's a hassle getting Dylan to go back to sleep, and he wanted to go to sleep himself. I said I was going to put him back to sleep anyway. He started complaining that it took him an hour just to get Dylan to go to sleep. He even took him in the shower, gave him melatonin, and played his noise machine. I said, "You're not going to tell me I can't say bye to my kid, but like I said, I'll make sure he goes back to sleep." We talked about 15 minutes. He was pretty mad. Dylan didn't even wake up, so I just left him a Godzilla plush toy my wife got him while we were on vacation. Now there's clear tension between Chris and me. You are the idiot for making this into a weird power play with Chris. He should have knocked you on your butt for coming into his home and thinking you can do what you want. Leave the toy, maybe leave a note, and then just leave. They explained that they struggled to get him to bed, so why not just respect their parenting and your son's need for sleep and drop it? Or keep the toy and give it to him when he comes to you. You have no business showing up at that hour. You're selfish to show that man you can come whenever you want. For crying out loud, you're married and so's your ex. Don't walk into another man's house like that. Is that what you want to teach your son to do? It is Chris's home. It was 11 p.m. and he asked you not to. If it were me, you wouldn't be allowed in my home until you apologized, and only when the kiddo was awake. Grow up. You sound petty and childish. My husband, 38, and I, 38 female, have 3 kids. Our daughter Christiana, young teen, Liam, preteen male, and Sarah, toddler female. Christiana has a boyfriend, Colden, a young teen. Colden's a good kid. He plays baseball, is an A student, and is a sweet boy. I also know that he and his friends call each other out when they do something terrible. He's told me stories about how he and his friends called out one of their friends for saying something phobic. They do this by roasting each other sometimes, but it encourages good behavior. Colden sometimes goes to my husband and me for advice. A few months ago, he came to us after his friends roasted him for a racially insensitive comment he made. You could tell he was remorseful. Last night, Colden and Christiana were in her room together. My husband and I were on the porch watching Liam and Sarah play in the yard. Suddenly, we're interrupted by Colden storming out of the house, and he's walking angrily. We tried to stop him, since he didn't have a coat and was wearing shorts. We told him to come inside and asked him what was wrong. He kept walking for a bit before returning and walking into our house, shivering. He told us that there was this boy in their grade who Colden found out that Christiana was bullying. He said the boy was a feminine straight guy. He has short hair and doesn't dress feminine, but he's a Swiftie, is openly emotional, and he listed a few other things about him. He said our daughter was calling this boy gay and telling his girlfriend that he's probably cheating on her with a boy. He didn't know the boy well, but it bugged him that she was doing this. He said he didn't want to report our daughter, though, as he didn't want to ruin his relationship with her. We suggested that he consider reporting it, but he said he didn't feel comfortable doing so. Later, we talked to our daughter. She was unapologetic. She said she was just stating how she felt and that we couldn't punish her. We told her that she was grounded and took her devices away. After cooling down a bit, my husband and I discussed our plans, and we decided to email the principals and admin at her school. The school is currently investigating this further, but has already found evidence that she and her entire friend group were bullying this boy after just a day of looking, and she's facing serious consequences. Our daughter said that we're being snitches and that we were ruining her social life. Am I the idiot? We're ruining her social life. Oh, the poor thing. It's funny how she says you're ruining her social life, when if she keeps treating people like that, she's going to ruin it herself. Not the idiot, OP. Your daughter's learning a valuable lesson. Actions have consequences, and by the sounds of it, she needs a consequence to fully understand how her actions and words are detrimental to the recipient. Tell your daughter you're happy to ruin her social life if it keeps her and her friends from ruining this boy's actual life. This is called parenting. You're ensuring that your daughter and her friend group face consequences for harming another human being. Colden sounds like a good kid. I'm glad he could talk to you about it and didn't cover for your daughter's disgusting behavior. Going against the group with, "You are the idiot." Yes, your daughter needs to learn a lesson, but reporting her to the school is essentially turning over that responsibility to them. This was an issue you could have and should have handled. The fact that you asked Colden to report it demonstrates that you were looking to absolve yourself from dealing with the problem. I also think it would be unlikely your daughter will trust you with anything.